in 30 minutes?
Yeah, I'm going to be.
Actually.
UFCU Dish Falk Field, home of Texas Tuesday. It should be a cold one tonight in Austin, Texas. The Longhorns will be layered up, and so will the fans. It has not stopped the tailgating. Get the blankets out, get the coffee. We got some baseball between Valpo and Texas coming up next on Longhorn Network. Welcome to Austin, Texas. We are ready for another Texas Tuesday as Valparaiso is in town. UFCU Dish Falk Field. May not be cold for Valpo, certainly cold for Central Texas as the big board has 48 degrees right now. Should be dropping 46, already has dropped as we welcome you inside the booth, chilly booth right now. Kevin Dunn alongside Greg Swindell and Zeke. Right now, maybe not too tough, but as this game goes on, it's supposed to get a lot colder, maybe in the 30s. How does that affect a ball player?
I think it will affect the Texas squad more than it will Valpo. Although it's been cold up there where they're from, they haven't been able to get outdoors very much. But as a ball player, you have to stay loose in between innings. Maybe go near the heater in the dugout, go into the clubhouse, try to stay warm, stretch your legs, and in the field, always move around. I mean, on a cold night, easy to pull a muscle. You got to always stay loose and keep the blood flow, keep moving.
Well, this Texas team has been winning 3-0 in Houston, won the Houston College Classic, but they want to get those bats a little bit hotter.
Yeah, the bats, they played a little small ball in Houston, but the bats hit the ball in the gaps, use your speed. That's what Texas needs to do.
All right, it's Texas Tuesday. As always, we have a lot set up for you. Take a look back at the Houston College Classic. Take a look ahead at the Hawaii Series. And, of course, we're going to always have some fun with the UT players. Find out what their favorite baseball movie is ever. Coming up next, first pitch, Texas Tuesday here on LHN.
Fans, at this time, please rise and remove your hats as we honor America and the courageous men and women defending its honor with the playing of our national anthem.
people.
The Longhorns in the eyes of Texas.
UFCU Dish Falk Field, home of Texas Tuesday. It should be a cold one tonight in Austin, Texas. The Longhorns will be layered up, and so will the fans. It has not stopped the tailgating. Get the blankets out, get the coffee. We got some baseball between Valpo and Texas coming up next on Longhorn Network. Welcome to a chilly Austin, Texas, UFCU Dish Falk Field, another edition of Texas Tuesday. Valparaiso, maybe not chilly for them as they come in to take on the 18th ranked team in the country, the Texas Longhorns. We take a look at the weather, 46 degrees, temperatures only expecting to get colder, should be in the 30s by the middle of the game. We welcome you inside the booth. Kevin Down alongside College Baseball Hall of Famer Greg Swindell. And Zeke, you played for a long time in college and obviously in the big leagues. You've played in cold weather. What do you have to do as a player to get ready for it?
Kevin, I played in cold weather in Baltimore one night where it was 30 degrees at game time. What you need to do is try to stay warm in between innings. You go by the heater, you go into the locker room, try to stay warm, keep stretching. And when you're in the field, the same thing. Always move your feet, keep the blood flow. That's the biggest thing you can do on a chilly night.
As for Texas, the Texas offense trying to get, their bats hot, hitting 247 as a club. What do they need to do?
Well, see the ball. I mean, see the ball, hit the ball. It is harder than it is. They played a lot of small ball in Houston. Use the gaps, use the lines, and use your speed.
Should have a lot of fun here coming up. Texas Tuesday. It's going to be a cold one, but we still got baseball. Take a look back at the Houston College Classic. Texas went 3-0. Also look ahead and preview Hawaii. Hawaii's got a pretty good baseball team. Plus, as always, we're going to have some fun with the players, find out what their favorite baseball movie is ever.
When I was younger, I always thought I was going to be Benny the Jet Rodriguez.
Benny the Jet is basically just the man. Ben Johnson is no Benny the Jet Rodriguez.
Brian Schmack is in his first season as the head coach for Valparaiso. He was the pitching coach, taking over for Tracy Woodson, who left for Richmond. Brian was a minor leaguer, Texas, and also with the White Sox. He's got some pro experience. We take a look at his lineup, and he's got Chris Manning hitting third for a reason.
For a reason to get these guys, Mahoney and Edwards, in. The senior leading the club with 12 RBIs. Got to be careful with the guys in front of Chris Manning.
They will be facing a true freshman, Blake Goins, 5'11", 205-pounder from Pearland, Texas. And Blake's a guy who has, what the scouts said, all the stuff in the world. Where is he right now in his development as a freshman?
He's come along very nicely. He's getting in there. This is his second start of the season. He starts off right there with a good fastball down the middle, and his breaking ball is getting better. To me, that's his pitch that he can command the best. But right now shows a good fastball in the first pitch.
Spencer Mahoney, 1-1 count. This is a Valpo team that really has come on as a program as of late. Strike number 2. Mahoney hit .353 as a freshman. He's their most patient hitter. That's why he's leading off. See, .500 on base percentage. Caught him looking.
I believe a report also could have went over to Valpo that Blake Goins has that breaking ball, but he throws 4 straight fastballs. You see this one tails back over the plate. Good pitch by Blake Goins. You see the tail on that pitch, and a good job of catching it by Tres Barrera behind the plate. Good start for Blake.
Brings up Jeff Edwards. Plays second base. Jeff hitting .368 on the year. Third. Wyatt takes his time. Quickly 2 outs. Good start for the freshman.
Going right after him. 6 pitches, 6 fastballs. 5 of them around the plate. That one in good location down in the zone. You might see that on this type of night when it's cool. It's supposed to get a lot cooler. Pitchers want to pitch a lot of fastballs and a lot of fastballs in, but so far Blake Goins is hitting that outside corner.
Chris Manning, 4-year starter from California.
So when we talked about in the opening right here in the batting 3 hole, the best pure hitter on the team, the senior, he shows the line out right there to center field.
A quick inning for Blake Goins. I'll definitely take that, as pitching was no problem for Texas, has not been all season long. Team comes in with a staff ERA of 2.04. As we take a look back at the Houston College Classic, it was all about pitching, and they did play some small ball.
They did play some small. Something I felt that had been missing from the Texas team so far this year. They were going to squeeze bunt, get guys over, and you see Mark Payton right here lays down a perfect bunt, and then also Casey Clemens laying them down. The bunts were good. They got the runners into scoring position and were effective. It's the first time we've seen a lot more out of Texas as the small ball over the weekend.
Some of the storylines from the weekend for Texas, obviously the biggest story, took a lot of confidence from going 3-0, talking to some of the players. As Zeke mentioned, Augie ball prevails, 9 sack hits, leads to 3 runs. Texas fielding struggles. That's something they do want to clean up, but the pitching staff helped them out with that.
Yeah, whenever your team behind you is making errors, you pick them up, but it's going to even out. Texas pitching was going to rely a lot on their defense this year. But over the weekend, you see right there, 27 innings and only 2 earned runs, and they were crowned the winner of the Houston College Classic.
Augie Garrido, the head coach for Texas, has more wins in D1 history than any other coach. 4-1 in 1-run games, 9-10 last season. Been much better playing Augie ball. Casey Clemens, he had a pretty good weekend in Houston.
He did have a good weekend in Houston. That's one with C.J. Hinojosa batting behind Mark Payton that needed to start hitting, getting on base and driving in runs. He drove in his first run of the season in the Houston College Classic, and he played some pretty good defense over there at first base. He was happy to be back home.
He barehanded one ball that took a funny hop, and pretty impressive. They're going to be facing Dalton Lundeen, the sophomore left-hander, 6'3", 195-pounder from Streamwood, Illinois.
This is his first start of the year. Had a bout with mononucleosis.
Yeah.
So he hasn't been able to pitch too much, and and get out and throw. He's got 4 pitches. His fastball's 85, 86 miles an hour, but he's just going to mix them up. Texas hitters need to stay patient because he's not going to throw it by you again. We've seen consecutive now 3 Tuesdays in a row that the starting pitchers for the opposing team have been just kind of the same type left-handed pitcher.
Brooks Marlowe leading off for Texas. 1-1 count. Horns come in as a team hitting .264 against left-handers, .241 against right-handers. How about Brooks Marlowe? He already has 5 hits against left-handers, only had 3 his whole freshman season.
He's maturing. He's using the entire field. His freshman year, all he wanted to do is that right there. And that's what you want to do in a hitter's count, 2-1. You want to take a pretty good hack. But he was doing it, you know, all the time. And when he didn't need to, he needs to use the entire field. And that's what the maturity level of Brooks Marlowe this year.
Full count.
He's becoming a very good leadoff hitter because a lot of the games I've seen and done with you, Kevin, he's 3-2. I mean, in the first inning, he sees all the pitches. He gives his bench a chance to see the pitcher on the mound. He takes good at-bats, and right here leads off the game with a walk.
It's a great at-bat. Now, it's a good at-bat if he gets a single on the first pitch, but a better one because, as you said, the bench saw a lot of his stuff right there.
Yeah, I mean, you making a pitcher work on the mound that hasn't been out there very much. We talked to Coach Schmack, and he says he's going to give him hopefully get 5 innings out of Lundeen or 75 pitches. And if you can get his pitch count up early in the game, that means they have to go to the bullpen even earlier.
Brings up Mark Payton. Payton maybe bunting here to get up early, or let this guy swing away.
I think, you know, Mark, being the senior, and he's an intelligent player. The second baseman is playing double play depth, and you got a left-handed pitcher falling off towards third. Mark's smart enough to pull one with him.
Well, hits it to the first baseman. Going to go to second to get the lead runner. Nate Pallas said, I'm going to go ahead and get the lead runner and take the shot, and he did.
He did. Almost threw it away down there, but a good play by Spencer Mahoney to catch it. 1 out.
Bring up C.J. Hinojosa. C.J.'s average now at .256, sophomore from Spring.
You know, for a team coming from up north, I call it up north because it's a little north of Texas.
Oh, it's north.
Come down here, they haven't had too much opportunity to be outside and field ground balls on grass, on AstroTurf. They've been fielding ground balls, which really aren't even ground balls. They're like rubber baseballs off a gym floor, indoors. Just not the same seeing it off a live bat on the field. So a good job right there by the first baseman, Nate Pallas, to field that ball and get the out at second.
Coach Schmack said before the game, fly balls are tough too because we've been indoors.
Yeah, I mean, how high can you hit one in gym and be able to get under it?
Foul tip, 1-2 now to Hinojosa.
In that gym, you don't have the wind, you don't have the cold.
He said it's just so hard to replicate real game scenarios when you're playing in a gym. I understand that. 1-2. Watch out. 46 degrees now. CJ had a nice trip home, 4 for 10. Had an RBI. A couple errors in terms of transferring the ball, but he's been pretty smooth at shortstop. Coach is not worried about him hitting. They say he's going to hit this year.
CJ, from what I've seen from him this year, he's hacking. He's going up there swinging that pitch, the last 2 breaking balls, and he's a little out in front. Pitches are high. But CJ's not one to just sit up there and he's last year he was more selective as a freshman. This year I think he's not seeing it as well so far this season, and he's swinging at a lot of bad pitches.
This is another foul ball.
When I say bad pitches, I mean he swings at that pitcher. That's a pitcher's pitch right there, a fastball inside. CJ's trying to protect the plate.
CJ was second on the team last year with a 309 average. A Big 12 freshman selection. One, two. He's staying off speed with him.
You really have to keep your weight back. I mean, with lefties like this, they need all right now that Dalton Lundeen, he needs to waste a pitch right here. He's got a 1-2 count. He sees that CJ's trying to be aggressive. Well, you can take that to your advantage as a pitcher and waste a breaking ball in the dirt.
1-2 to right center. This is going to get in. And Mark Payton's going to be aggressive, take third. Runners on the corners, 1 out. Stayed back on that one.
That fastball just was up in the zone. Lundeen had CJ in his count, but he just leaves this one right up over belt high. CJ does a good job and very aggressive. I like Mark Payton. Recognizes that the ball is going to drop into right center without hesitation, keeps running, and finds himself on third base.
Sets up your highlight guy, Casey Clemens.
Yeah, Casey, over the weekend in Houston, I think he was comfortable going back home. Swung the bat better. To me, he's playing very mature for a freshman. He's gone after a few balls at first base that he shouldn't have, but those are freshman mistakes. But his approach at the plate, the way he sees the ball and works counts, I mean, it's just very impressive from what I've seen out of him.
Safety squeeze maybe in order. 256 on the year. He's hitting 250s, 3 for 12 against left-handers.
I think right now, if you can get that bunt down, Casey Clemens not the speediest of runners.
He gets it down. This is also going to be a hit. He's safe. See if they scored a hit, but it's certainly the first run of the game. Texas leads.
In this situation, Casey Clemens, if he hits a ground ball, could have hit into a double play, a smart play to get him to put down the safety squeeze. It's up, so Mark Payton has to hesitate for a second, but Casey does a good job of getting down the line quick. Ralph Menard at first base, and call him safe.
Yeah, we're going to call that an error. It's a tough play for a lefty who's falling to the other side, but you saw it did hit the glove.
Well, I think we talk about the infielders taking ground balls outside. It works a pitcher the same way. He's thinking maybe that ball's going to take a little higher hop than it did coming off the turf. Didn't get down on it, and it cost him a run.
Jacob Feltz now, DH. Jacob's been extremely positive on the bench and has come in and delivered with a couple hits, including a game winner, senior from Orange.
That's such a key for this Texas team this year with Alex Silver, Jacob Feltz, these seniors that have played a lot since they've been at the University of Texas, and now their senior season. This is Jacob's, what, 5th at bat, 6th at bat of the season. Alex Silver has 1. I mean, these guys are not playing, but they're keeping a positive attitude on the bench. And now, say you're going to take a freshman, young freshman out of the game, they're not going to go to the bench and mope and pout and, you know, say, man, I'm not playing now. What's going on? Because they've watched these two seniors that have played a lot since they've been here have a good attitude.
Feltz started pretty much every game at catcher for 3 years.
3 straight.
So if he's not going to mope, you can't mope. 1-1. Good eye.
What I've liked, what I've seen out of Jacob is he's keeping a chart next to Augie on the bench when he's not playing. So Augie will ask him, you know, what pitch is that? Jacob's right there. So he's still in the game as a catcher, like he would be behind the plate calling a game by keeping in the chart.
3-1. Hitters count coming up. Jacob 2 for 5 on the young season.
Well, you talk about it all the time. Jacob's approach of going up the middle, you stick with it even though it's a 3-1, a hitter's count. Jacob's not going to be a home run hitter. His approach is up the middle and opposite field. That wasn't his pitch. Now he's worked the count now, 3-2. Let's see if Ogden might send the runners right here.
Hinojosa at second, Clemens at first. Texas with a run here in the first, trying to add to it. This is chopped towards second. Play is at first. Runners advance. There's 2 outs.
Jacob not taking an aggressive swing right there. 3-2. Reaches one out, gets to second base, and you saw again, second baseman Edwards had a little trouble with the transition, getting the ball to the glove, from the glove to his hand.
We can expect that with a team that is, like we said, not as many reps as most teams from the South. Ben Johnson now up. Ben comes in hitting .229, sophomore from right here in Austin. Looked a lot more comfortable defensively in left field. Gonna be down on the count 0-2. You gonna see anything to hit here?
If I'm pitching, if I'm Dalton Lundeen, no, I'm gonna waste pitches. I'm gonna keep the fastball away from Ben Johnson. He's on the defense now, so he's liable to swing at a bad pitch, which is not a bad pitch by Lundeen. It's a pitcher's pitch. You have control of this count with this at bat right now, 0-2.
Big spot for Lundeen and Valpo. Trying to get out of this first inning, only giving up a run. You see what Texas Ben Johnson has done with runners in scoring position, 1 for 7. He's 1 for 5 against lefties this year. Now he's back in the count a little bit.
He's back in the count. He knows now he could get a pitch to hit. Lundeen's been pounding him away. If I was Ben Johnson, I would have that approach that he's going to try to get me out of the way and try to take something to the opposite field.
2-2. It's down the right field line, foul. Kevin Dunn, Greg Swindell here at UFCU Dish Falk Field. 46 degrees here in Austin. Valparaiso in town for a Texas Tuesday. Quick first inning for Blake Goins, and Texas with a run in, trying to add to it. And this is going to get through. 1 run is in, and they're going to send home Clemens. Here comes the throw. Not in time. 3-0 Horns.
Huge for Texas Longhorns. Jump out now 3-0 in the first inning. They've scored 3 runs the last 2 games to win those games. Now they get 3 in 1 inning. Good job by Ben Johnson. Good at bat after falling behind 0-2 to getting a pitch and getting those 2 out RBIs that have been real big for Texas this year.
It's a huge one as Trace Barrera steps up. Texas scored 25 of 53 runs with 2 outs. It was not happening in the last couple of years.
We haven't seen it.
Runner takes off. Throw is way off. They were going to have a tough shot of getting Johnson anyway, but that was not even close.
Yeah, Ben got a good jump. Lefty, you're going to go as soon as he lifts his leg. You're taking a chance that he's going to go home. Take off first move with Ben's speed. I mean, if they had thrown to first, they might not have got him at second. He got a good jump.
You said if they would thrown to first, they still might not have got him?
I don't think so.
Steve Cantu picked off Deion Sanders in the 80s. Steve Cantu, the former Longhorn,
Right.
picked him off. Brian Cesarek made the perfect transition. Bethet's down there short, and Deion Sanders was just wiping his shin off.
already up.
He was already up. This should be easy, but nothing too easy for Valpo, considering they've not seen many fly balls, but Chris Manning has that. And Texas done here in the first. So is the damage. They get 3 in. Welcome back to Austin, Texas. Now for our keys to the game, powered by the all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado. Zeke, what do you got?
Well, for the Crusaders of Valparaiso, score early. This has been what they've done so far in the young season. They've scored 24 runs in the first 2 innings and only 23 the rest innings 3 through 9. Well, they didn't get one in the first. Limit their mistakes. They made the error in the first. For Texas, pitchers need to work fast, get the ball over the plate, keep your team loose, and score when opportunities arise.
Leading off, Karch Kowalczyk. Casey Clemens underneath it, and
big league pop fly right there.
We've seen 9 pitches and 4 outs.
I like what I see so far out of Blake Goins. He's attacking the zone. He's getting comfortable on the mound. We've seen him this year go out there. He started games. He's coming in relief. He's pitched well, but tonight he's thrown a lot more strikes than he has in his previous games that he's been out there.
Michael Moorman, senior from Rockford, Illinois. Pretty big kid, 6'2", 185-pounder. He's got some experience and some big wins with this Valpo team the last couple of years. I thought that was coming towards us, Zeke.
It was right at us, just over the pavilion.
Crusaders coming off consecutive Horizon League titles and NCAA regional appearances. No stranger to very good competition. Fouled down the right side. Good approach, though, 2-2 right there. It seems like he was looking to go right center.
Oh, yeah. The Texas pitching, they're going to be around the plate. Blake Goins so far has been throwing a lot of pitches away, which he's doing again. A good approach, always with 2 strikes, is to stay in there and try to drive the ball the other way.
Mark Payton has that, 2 outs. Was talking with Mark before the game. Said, I'm getting really comfortable playing center field, and the Major League scouts are taking note of that because it's one of the reasons he came back, one of many.
He's a good player. He's an athlete. I mean, you could put him in left, and he could do the same thing. He played right field not his entire career here at Texas, but played right field. He wanted to play center field. He came back here. He's getting the opportunity to do that, and I just think he's just a very good athlete. If you could put him at first base, he could probably be a good first baseman just because of his athleticism.
Wants to coach later on after his pro career. Let's take a look at Andy Burns. Andy's also a senior. See some kids from the Midwest, like Andy, as he hits it to first. Blake Goins has had 2 quick innings. Longhorns lead by 3. Texas baseball returns to LHN this weekend with a 4-game series against Hawaii. Friday at 6, Saturday at 1 and 4, little double dip. Then Sunday at 1, it's Hawaii and Texas all weekend long right here on Longhorn Network. Andy McGuire going to lead it off, hit sharply to short. Mahoney has it. 1 pitch, 1 out.
We'll see if the Rainbows can bring a little warmer weather this weekend.
Yeah, the Rainbows would not be used to this. Valpo's fine.
That might be a little home field if they were here for this game tonight. Cooler weather.
It's actually Taylor Stell, who's going to be out for the year. And he looks warm. That's the right hat, you know?
That would look good on you, Kevin.
What, the vest or the hat?
Both.
Colin Shaw up.
Actually, if you've seen me in my hunting gear, I kind of resemble that. And what an at-bat Colin Shaw had in Houston over the weekend to drive in the actually eventually winning run with a sacrifice fly to center field. He battled and battled and battled and finally got a pitch that he could elevate and get in the air, and after not getting a lot of playing time this year as well.
Shaw had a couple hits. Had a really nice Sunday for Texas and the 3-2 win over Sam Houston State. 3-1. Shaw's 1 for 1 against left-handers this season. How about Texas? Hitting .341 against lefties. Should say left-handed batters, actually. Count is full.
Left-handed batters for the Longhorns are batting .341.
Yes.
Well, a large part of that from
Mark Payton.
Mr. Payton in center field.
And Brooks Marlowe.
Brooks Marlowe's been swinging the bat well. Colin Shaw, when he's having the opportunity, has gotten some hits.
See Marlowe in the on-deck circle. Did a good job of building up the pitch count on Dalton Lundeen. There's a strikeout. He had something behind that.
He did a little change his eye level, comes in with a fastball to Colin Shaw, unable to lay off.
What should be a lot of fun this weekend on Longhorn Network. Friday at 6, talked about it, then double dip. You don't get double dips anymore. We used to have them all the time.
Not too often, but if you're going to fly in from Hawaii, we're going to play you 4 games. We'll give you a doubleheader on Saturday.
And then, of course, Sunday at 1 as Marlowe steps to the plate. He walked his first time up. This ball is laced towards center. And it's going to be a base hit for Marlowe. Bryce Hara in center. Hardest ball is a one hit right at you, right?
It is. I've seen Major League center fielders freeze. The best thing to do, which is the hardest on a line drive right at you, is to freeze for a center fielder. You see Brooks Marlowe just so comfortable in there right this year against left-handed pitchers. But a tough play, center fielder. Not sure if it's over your head or if it's in. Best thing to do is freeze, and Hara able to do that. He didn't really have a chance of catching that ball anyway.
Shot from our crew, and you're right. I don't think he did. Good stop. Check throw to first. Marlowe's back. Bartolomucci behind the plate. Mark Payton 0 for 1. Into a fielder's choice his first time up. That average is plummeting here, Zeke. 489 now. This ball is hit well to center. And Hara is there. Texas done here in the second. They lead by 3.
1.5 left. Through 3 for the win! Goal! Valpo wins! Valpo wins! The kid performs another miracle!
If you watch March Madness, I know you remember that. 1998, Ole Miss goes down on one of the best design plays we've ever seen, and Bryce Drew ends up nailing the 3. Valpo University, founded in 1859. Saw Adam Amin, one of the notable alumni.
Famous alumni.
Famous alumni. Also, Jim Wacker, his son Mike, was an All-American at Texas on that undefeated team until he got his knee taken out in Waco. Wacker's kind of like my Billy Bates for basketball.
That was your man, huh?
Yeah, and Jim, of course, was a longtime coach. Lloyd McClendon, one of the best Little League players of all time, and of course went on to be a big leaguer and now a manager.
Manager for the Detroit Tigers?
I believe
Is that
so.
where he is right now? No, I'm sorry, the Seattle Mariners.
And Mariners.
That's right. Brad Osmus is in Detroit.
Nate Palace.
Lloyd was there with
Jim
Leland,
Leland.
then went to manage.
1-2. Goins gets down. Quick little flip. And there's 1 out. I think Adam even tweeted us. You can tweet us at LHN Baseball. I see we're throwing the word famous around loosely. Well done, Adam.
Hey, if you make our famous alumni list,
He's
we're
on-
going to use the word famous. So Adam Amin.
Adam's a play-by-play guy. You see him on ESPN, does a great job. He played volleyball. He covers everything. I love watching him call volleyball games. Hard now up. Hits it to where he plays center. Mark Payton there. 2 outs, and boy, Blake Goins is just going through this lineup.
This is what I'm talking about. Blake Goins is getting the ball, and you keep your defense on their toes. You keep them ready. You see right here, we're going to watch this pitch by Blake Goins over the plate, but Mark Payton in center field turned to his left to begin with. You'll see him right here. Gets a good jump, turns to his left, and then quickly to his right. The wind's going that way. The ball fades on him. A lot of outfielders, they have a sense of where the ball's going to be and will run to a spot. Mark Payton does that good right there.
Ray Bartolomucci from Concord, California. A lot of Californian, a lot of Texans on this team. This is laced to left field for a base hit. First hit of the game for the Crusaders.
Off the end of the bat, we had Mr. Bartolomucci wearing number 29 to begin the game. He must have left his jersey somewhere. He's wearing 42 now. He might be switching.
Well, number 42 for Texas was wearing 21.
Right.
Number that you have retired, and his dad, Rocket, has retired.
He had a big old smile on his face. I don't think his
Pre-game.
DP top made it back from Houston. Sometimes those things can walk away when you're in other places.
Oh, I got
So
you.
they already had this one made up for him from the fall. He was wearing 21 out there in the fall and had a big smile on his face. I think he enjoyed it today.
Forget, join the conversation like Adam Amin did. Hashtag LHN Baseball. Spencer Mahoney struck out his first time up, still at 361. Very patient hitter. It's in there for a strike. One thing Coach Schmack told us before the game, a lot like Augie, he will bunt to move guys over, but you got to get those guys on early,
right.
not with 2 outs.
Not with 2 outs. With Bartolomucci getting the first hit of the game here with 2 outs, you're not going to have an opportunity to do it. You're exactly right. But you get your leadoff hitter up there who's batting over 370 coming into it. Betting, let's see now, 361. See if they can get some going. Says if he, Coach Schmack says if he does anything, he might try to steal.
Swing and a miss. Well, Mahoney hit 353 as a freshman. Big kid, 6'4".
I know you have your catcher over there on first base, but a 2-2 count on your leadoff hitter. You can take a chance here having him go to second base. If he does get thrown out, you got your leadoff guy leading off the next inning, but no action right there.
Crusaders with runners on this season. 317, bases empty, 168. graphic stands out.
Getting guys on. They like to swing the bat a little bit.
They've been very good early on. They've scored a lot of their runs early on in games, and Coach Schmack said, yeah, that's kind of been a problem. We've gotten up 7-1, and these guys start to coast.
Well,
now down 3-0.
That can happen at any level, at any team, because you're winning. You're up 7-0. You're up 6-0 in the second inning. It's a lot of baseball to be played, and I think they're learning that, a learning experience for Valpo. Coach Schmack lets them know that, just, hey, we got to stay in this game. You see it right there, 24 runs scored in the first 2 innings and only 27 innings 3 through 9. They just have to keep that concentration, stay in the game. Pretty good pitch.
Very close, ball 4, runners on first and second now. Jeff Edwards coming up.
The first time that Blake Goins has had to throw from the stretch right there with the hit by Barlamucci. That was a good pitch, 3-2. I don't know how Mahoney took it. I guess that's why he's batting 361. He's got a good eye, good approach at the plate.
He said he's got a great eye. As you saw Josh Scheuer getting loose. Expect to see a lot of Texas pitchers today, but Goins has been so efficient. I'm stuck with him. Here is Edwards. Grounded to Andy McGuire's last time up. Breaking ball from Goins for a strike.
And there's that pitch that gets Blake back in the zone. The breaking ball makes you release it more out front. Get the ball down. That little control with Mahoney, the leadoff hitter, walking him. Come back with a breaking ball. Very mature pitch.
Fastball outside.
And Skip will let these guys, even though Barrera's a freshman, Goins a freshman, he's letting these kids call their own game. That's how you're going to learn.
Thought about offering. Peel to first, no. Skip Johnson, the Texas pitching coach. Three and one, really good count coming up for Edwards.
Blake just needs to challenge him. You have the 3-run lead. You worked a couple quick innings. Now you're having to labor a little bit out there. It's cold. Get the ball over the plate. We've seen the defense. Mark Payton chase them down. They've been playing very good tonight. Blake Goins needs to challenge Edwards right here.
He does not. The bases were loaded. 2 consecutive walks after a single. He retired the first 8, now running some trouble.
And this is the one you did not want to face with the bases loaded. Chris Manning, the leading RBI guy for the Crusaders. Blake Goins getting himself into a little trouble right here.
What is this conversation about? Just hit the mitt?
I think we saw him lead off Jeff Edwards right there with a breaking ball, so he's having trouble with his release point on his fastball. His breaking ball's there. He got it out in front. The fastball, he's just a lot of pitchers. When you see it, we saw it with Lucas Schiraldi in the first inning in Houston. If that front shoulder flies open just an inch, I mean, that makes you have to catch everything up. Your arm has to catch up, and then you try to speed everything up, and you lose control of your fastball. But now he can go back to his windup where he was more effective in this game.
Good opportunity. Manning steps up for the freshman Goins. Bases loaded. Good stop by Barrera. Tried to go back to that first pitch breaking ball for a strike.
So he went back to the breaking